brief answer is that it's an extension of your data center that just happens to live outside your environment.
Okay.
And for some people, it means different things to different people. For some, it means just hosting. For other people, it means it means something finer grained, like a software application that I access over the internet. But the key point here is that it's external IT as opposed to internal IT.
Got it.
My goal was to define what cloud computing is, but to define it within a business context, and especially the economic context of the last 18 months and 2 years, which has driven executives in our client base to look for ways to drive as much cost out of their environment as possible. So the cloud became a very interesting potential target to help them do that, for the main reason that it allows them to assign commodity within their environment, and to where it's possible to actually move that outside and to run it more cheaply, or to rent software as a service from somebody else and actually decrease the amount of spend internally on IT. And then wrapping that all of that up with a pragmatic look at what's real about the cloud, what things are old, what things are new, some look at the consumption model, and then how companies can take advantage of that as they move forward and plan strategically for the next couple of years. And I'm always on the search for metaphors, and I'm a big student of history and architecture and art and music and other things. And I was in Rome recently, and it struck me that they're having trouble expanding because they're limited both by geographic limitations, hills and rivers and so on, but also by historic ones and layers of legacies. Rome is a city that's built upon itself multiple times. And so as a result, any modernization that happens in Rome is hard to do because you are constantly running into artifacts that have historic value, and you have to justify what you're doing. The same is true within IT environments. There's a lot of legacy infrastructure, legacy applications and data that simply exist with our environments. We try to do something new, often puts a great deal of stress on those things. You have to be careful about how you tear things out, or else the whole thing may come collapsing down. So that's really what our IT environments look like, and they've built up that way because our governance processes haven't been strong enough, or the relationship between business and IT has simply created silos and hills and mountains and rivers and obstructions, and it makes it hard to move forward. So when you think about the cloud, some of the more sophisticated cloud scenarios, which involve hosting some piece of functionality outside and then reintegrating that with your internal IT, means that many of those tangled problems of legacy need to be solved before that can become really effective. That's really what the key message was. And no IT solution ever is, really. But what it is it's another way of doing IT. And it's a way that is not mutually exclusive from the other ways that we do IT. It's simply, it is a target place where we can put some of what we do in IT. It's what we at Burton Group refer to as the externalization of IT. And I think, in the end, what will happen is that the things that work in the cloud because it's cost effective and it serves our needs for agility will live in the cloud. Things that we need more control over, especially from a security and risk management perspective, and because they run our core business, will live inside. And then we'll have use cases that transverse this set. And so the cloud simply becomes an extension of our computing environment that, if done correctly, can be done more cost effectively and more efficiently as a result. I was especially happy to hear the SAS 70 piece of the story this morning, that they're SAS 70 certified and they're ready to address issues of HIPAA compliance and PCI compliance, because those are the things, excuse me, that companies are really struggling with and are looking to private cloud providers to provide for them to relieve that headache. And some of that is, our history of enterprise development against SOX, for example, that it sucked up a lot of time and resources from creative development teams over a period of a couple of years. And I don't think we want to necessarily go through that again. So if a private cloud provider can give us some of that and offload that compliance headache for us, I think that's a good thing. So what I see from Visi looks good, looks strong.